Introduce some staff members. Before she sits down, Anna Collins is our Director of Membership. I think all of you know Anna. Jim Zills is sliding in behind Dr. Miller, our Director of Food and Beverage. Mike Johnson, our Director of Golf. Dave Brenda, our Director of Facilities Maintenance. Amy Barati is our new Chief Financial Officer. And Nick Garabay. Stand on up, Nick. If you haven't met him,
Yeah.
I do have a bit of a presentation tonight. It most likely won't be as long as they traditionally are, but this is really pretty forward and simple. Where we're going to start, hopefully this turns on, is a cash position. Is a statement of our cash position here, and can't. So you will have access to this slide tomorrow, and you can get into it. And I'll be happy to sit down and go through it line by line with all of you. The balance sheet that I'm showing is the top side, which is the assets. And what it effectively shows is a decrease in cash from January 1 of this year through June 30th. And as much as that is a little concerning, there's actually a really good story behind it. Yeah. Last year in 2024, we had our payment due, our premium for our property and casualty insurance in June. And the club did not have enough cash to pay it. So we had to go on a financing plan last year to pay the club's property and casualty insurance. Through the budgeting process last year and through establishing better cash controls in place with capital spending and some operational costs just to try to time this out, we've been able to pay in full our premium that came due in June this year. So that premium is a couple $100,000. So we're really actually in a really good spot with this $100,000 cash flow drop. Through the end of the year, as was reported in the last quarterly treasurer's report, we will have a positive cash generation of up to a range of $40,000 to $120,000 additionally that we didn't have last year by the end of the year. Going back to 2023, in the last quarter of 2023, the club recognized that it did not apply for nor receive any earned employee retention tax credits from the federal government. So the club went ahead and applied for 6 quarters of ERTC. There was not a real high likelihood, and nor is there right now, that we will get it nor all of it. But the IRS did release to us in the middle of July $847,000 of ERTC monies that the club has now received. We have 4 other quarters that are they're under audit with the government right now. They're being reviewed. So we do not still know if we're going to get all of it or some of it. But the good news is we did receive $847,000 of ERTC monies. What that means is that at the Finance Committee meeting last month in July, Finance Committee reviewed the $847,000 that came into the club and made 2 recommendations to the board. Number 1, that the money not be spent and that it be put into operational reserves as we move forward. And number 2 was for the board to establish an investment committee. At the July board meeting, at the end of July, the board ratified both. They agreed that we will reserve the money for operational reserves to build our cash balance as we move forward. In addition, they agreed that we would start an investment committee. The board has established 4 individuals to sit on that committee. 3 of them are board members and 1 of them is a member of the Finance Committee. The 3 board members were selected based on their the dates that their board terms end. And the reason that we did that is because we wanted institutional knowledge with this committee as we went forward. We did not want a large number of committee members to flip every year, or the committee itself to flip every year. So the individuals that were selected to sit on the investment committee are Mr. Pat Waters, whose term ends this year, Mr. John Brightfeller, the club's treasurer, whose term ends next year, and Mr. Jim Curley, who has the longest tenure on the board, and his tenure finishes in 3 years. The individual that the board selected and was recommended by the Finance Committee to sit from the Finance Committee is Mr. Sean Jackson. That committee will meet here relatively shortly and will move forward into investing these funds. The investments will be very low risk. What we are looking at are T-bills and CDs that are laddered. They could earn up to 4.1% during the process. We are working with Seacoast Wealth Management, which is our bank and our primary bank, as we go through this process, looking into what options are available. Do we have any questions on monies that are coming in? The reason that we are saving it is because in business and business best practices is that you want to retain anywhere between 3 and 6 months worth of expenses. If you're not aware, we're a $15 million business. So on average, we're spending every month between about $1.3, $1.4 million needs to go out. And as you can see from that balance at the end of June, it's not quite enough to be able to cover 1 month. So the goal is to establish at least $3.2 million over the course of the next couple of years in order to get us close to carrying 3 months or 1 quarter of our operational expenses.
I have a question.
Yes?
How much is our total debt?
Our total debt with the building, are you talking about the bank loan?
Everything we have.
$6 million is what the mortgage is for the building.
And that's for everything, all the improvements that we've done so far?
That's the debt that we currently carry, correct?
Okay.
Yes?
What's accounts receivable? How do we have it?
Accounts receivable is a really interesting question. So the reason that that's changed a little bit is an accounting method that our new auditing company, CLA out of Orlando, wanted us to institute. What is not recognized is further down this balance sheet. So they made us, through proper accounting, moved up into accounts receivable, the current month's full dues income, which is why it's showing that high.
So that's a future dues in the upcoming month?
Correct. Yes?
I'm sorry, could you repeat the monthly expenses?
The monthly expenses are about $1.3, $1.4 million.
Thank you.
Yes. So moving on, this year, these are our capital projects that we have completed this year and what is left to be done. So we have a bunch of projects that are still in progress, and we have a lot that are scheduled out for Q3 and Q4 for the rest of the year. Again, this is done for cash management purposes as we roll through what we're looking at. But these projects are actually what we're planning on spending the rest of this year focused on and spending all of your money on. Do you want me to go through a list line by line, or want me to sort of
Give
jump
us a chance to
forward?
look at it.
Yes.
I understand. We have driving range updates, which is up at the top. We spent just about $50,000 for all the new furniture. Hydrocourt maintenance, that's a carryover from 2024. There's a dispute on the final bill. Cart path carryover from 2024. That was work that was done in December of 2024, but was paid in January 25. Core irrigation system with the weather sensors was installed. We enclosed the food and beverage hallway in the Palm Restaurant. Golf course maintenance, new storage building is underway. Tennis light pole replacement is completed, right? So that is completed, that tennis light pole replacement. HVAC upgrades, tennis court fencing, a vertigation system for the grounds department, outdoor furniture, for the pool. Nursery greens are in there, the veranda awning replacement. So the canvas on the back side of the awning on the home restaurant, we will be taking that down and we'll be replacing it with a hardcover roof, probably in September.
We're hoping in September.
August, September, later this month, September. Seal coating, all the main parking lot and all the golf parking lots, including back here by the pool. Repainting the clubhouse, the Palm Clubhouse, and full power washing of both clubhouses. We have budgeted in here some cart path work, additional maintenance of hydrocourts, that is half of what we spent, and those are done on the tennis courts. We have a placeholder in here to rebuild the 75 horsepower pump for greens and grounds, and to rebuild the pump house on number 9 Classic. Yes?
If you understand that no one here can see that chart that you're presenting, and I recommend that next time you have handouts that are underneath what you're saying.
Sure, I'll be happy to.
Good.
Yes?
Under your loan payments there, showing $670,000. What does that consist of?
I'm sorry, under
Loan payments at the top.
the loan payments, that is the annualized mortgage payment to the bank for the Palm Clubhouse.
Just for the building, not any other work like that? Is it just for the building or is it other debt as well?
No, that's just the building. Yes?
What's the contingency, 69,273, what's aspirational capital?
So contingency is exactly that, things that pop up that were not budgeted. And aspirational capital was talking about future plans and master planning pieces as we move forward.
It's a pretty specific number for things that pop up, so what's in that?
Well, that's not spent yet, that's the balance, if we need it, correct. George?
Rob, is there any plans to hard cover the west bar? The one on the traffic ring side?
For west,
Set the bar area there.
on the back of the new
Yeah.
clubhouse, that's the entire roofing system's being replaced. From the driving range side all the way through to the Sunset Bar. The entire roof is being replaced.
Okay. Is it gonna be extended?
No. No, it'll be the same footprint. Yes, Ms. Johnson?
The car pass, is it just for the classic challenge for both of them?
No, ma'am, the car path number is a hold number for any car paths that need to be repaired. Yep. All right, yes?
Do you mind repeating the questions when asked because we can't?
Sure, Ms. Johnson wanted to know the $25,000 for the car pass, if it was for one course or the other, and it's for both, anything that pops up that needs to be replaced. So the board at the last meeting, which is why this meeting was called, has approved 6 projects moving forward to be placed in front of you. And there's been a lot of talk with me and with Dr. Miller and the board members about wanting more transparency and input and to be able to make choices. So we are going to propose to you these 6 projects, and the voting and the ballots will open up on this coming Friday, and it'll close the following Friday, and we'll get into some details in here as we move forward. It is a simple binary choice. It's a yes or no vote. It is for all the projects or none of them. And let me get through this presentation, and then we can talk about that. So the first project that is being shared with you is irrigation. And right now on the classic golf course, we are rebuilding approximately 8 to 10 irrigation heads every week. To repair those, it takes 2 to 2.5 hours each time for our irrigation tech to repair them. The challenge that we have is that those irrigation heads are hunter or rainbird heads, and they are no longer manufactured. So we cannot purchase any replacements. All we are getting right now are parts. So we're getting as many parts as we can get. We're looking at eBay and other areas to buy them, to purchase the parts. And then Robert takes apart the irrigation heads, rebuilds them, and puts them back into the ground. So they are well beyond their life. So this project is to replace 1,068 irrigation heads on the classic golf course. Additionally, the proposal also includes irrigation additions. And the irrigation additions are for dry areas on the golf course, which are represented in the picture on the left. The picture on the right with the rutting is because irrigation heads stick open on classic, and your golf carts and our utility carts get stuck in it. And that is the damage that's caused when those irrigation heads stay open overnight and they can't shut down. The irrigation additions will be done on classic holes number 4, 5, 6, 7, 11, 12, 16, 17, and 18. On challenge, irrigation additions will take place on holes 1, 2, and 3, 13 and 14, and 16 and 18. And we'll be installing an additional 249 heads on both golf courses. Any questions on the program or the intent or the extent?
How much?
We're not divulging the individual prices yet. Well, just hold on. We're not divulging the individual prices yet because we are still accepting bids, and we want them to be competitive. All of the companies have the specs of what we're looking for. We're looking for Toro Infinity heads, and we know exactly what we're looking for, but we are not disclosing it. We do have bids that are strong enough to put the proposal in front of you at this point. Yes?
Rob, for those of us that have weak memories, seems to me like we just redid this, but I don't remember when we did it.
I can't help you with when you redid it. I don't know what that means, but
We installed a whole new irrigation system.
on challenge.
In the classic.
Oh,
Challenge. The challenge was a whole new irrigation system, about the time that building was going up.
Yeah, so Challenge is the newest of the 2 irrigation systems. They are currently running on Toro Infinity heads, which is the newest head that Toro came out with, which is what we're looking to switch over the irrigation heads to over on the classic course. Yes?
You said 2 different numbers for sprinkler heads. Could you clarify that? You said 1,068.
Sure.
200.
Of course. So the 1,068 heads are what we are replacing on the classic golf course alone. The 249 number is what we're adding to both golf courses.
How many are you adding to the challenge? Because that was laid out to cover just about everything.
I don't know, I don't have the hole by hole or the course breakdown. I just have the total of 249 in front of me tonight.
Hard to believe we need that many, because it was laid out to cover even more than what was ever covered.
Well, there's people that disagree.
I know.
Yes? Yes, sir, we do. We do have quotes that are already in hand, and we're reviewing them. We're actually meeting this week with 2 of the 3 contractors for a future project here. But we do have quotes in hand.
Are they going to be in hands or we can vote on?
No, sir. Tonight you are going to vote on a total number, a total dollar amount for all 6 of the projects together.
So if we say no, if we say no,
No. We're voting in a week or 2, right?
Let me finish, let me walk through the projects, and then all of this is answered if you let me finish through the projects. Are there any more questions specific to irrigation?
Are the RFPs you're receiving from these vendors, do they include any warranty or maintenance on the new
Yes,
product they're
they do.
installing?
Yeah,
Because that should be.
there's material warranties in there, yes.
With the increase of over 200 heads, have we factored in the additional maintenance costs in the out years also then?
For the additional 249 to replace,
Yeah.
these heads should last 15 years to 20 years. So they will be included in future fixed assets, and we'll get into that conversation here in a minute as well. Yes?
with that comment about the warranty, my question going back when I asked when we put this in, did we not have a warranty on the existing system?
I wasn't here when the classic system was installed.
Somebody should know that.
The challenge heads are still under warranty. Yes.
Just a quick question. When you started out, you said there were 6 items, and when we voted on them, it was all or none.
Correct.
Is that right?
That is correct. Let me, yes.
And is there any reason why you're just doing 6 or none?
Let me finish what I'm proposing to you, and then there's a whole schedule here of all 6, and then just hold those questions. I'm just trying to work through each of these projects. Specific to the irrigation, yes, sir.
Have you factored in any labor savings on putting in the
There is not going to be any labor savings, because Robert will then turn into, the irrigation tech will wind up syringing the greens and repairing other out areas as well.
Why would you do it if you're not going to save any money?
Why do we do it without saving any money? Because soon enough, we're not going to have any replacement parts to fix the irrigation system, and it'll be dead.
You're saying $2.5 times X tenants is, I don't know, 4 people.
There won't be any labor savings. I can tell you that we will save some money for the irrigation parts that we are replacing, but it's not going to be significant. Not on a $13 million operating budget. The next project is a bulkhead replacement. Bulkhead replacement is for both the golf courses. And the bulkhead work will be on classic 9T and 9 green, the classic 7 green, 8T, all of number 12, 13T and 14 green. Inside their spec of work, there's corrugated bulkhead, which represents on the bottom of the page, and there's flat bulkhead, which is represented on the top. There's also backfill, or there's no backfill. And the contractors are being requested to give us, as part of their scope, all 4 of those prices, so that the Greens and Grounds Committee can choose which one they would like to do, flat or corrugated and filled or not backfilled. And if we do not backfill, that will need to be done in-house.
Repeat the holes again.
The holes, it's actually wherever you see the bulkhead. So it's both on classic, it's the 9th tee box and the 9th green. On challenge, it's the 7th green, right in front of the 7th green there. Number 8T. So there's bulkheading work in the front. And on 12, the entire run of 12. So from the back tees all the way around the green. On 13T, so it dips a little bit and goes into the pond, and then the bulkheading picks back up on the back side of the tee and swings around. And then 14 green. So as you take your approach shot, you're going over the water, and it's at all that bulkheading around the corner on 14 green.
Is that the 2 choices? There's no wood, there's no stone?
We are not doing wood. This is all composite work.
Okay.
Yeah. Yep, no more wood. Any additional bulkhead? Woody, my engineer.
What, is that coming out? Or are you gonna start sliding down in front of the?
No, they're gonna go, the project calls for them to be in front of the bulkheads, and then they'll cut the tops off and then backfill behind.
There'll be a whole lot of additional filling.
That is correct. Next project, the driving range turf upgrade. This area will have pavers on the top. So as you walk up the staircase, instead of the grass there, you'll have pavers. So it'll be hardscaped, and it'll go right into these turf mats. These mats, we're looking at Turf Hound, and that's what's represented in this picture. This is actually from a club down south, but ours will look almost identical to this, with the soldier course in the front, and then the landing area once you get to the top of the stairs on the back side. Additionally, to the main driving range turf, we'll also be installing a turf mat on the back of the pro tees where the professional staff give lessons, so that when they need to take a rest off of the actual turf. Any questions? Yes?
What's going on with that bulkhead?
Well, that one, that's fine. We're leaving that.
And that one extended, you're not gonna create any more, space for that?
There is no more space to go side by side. We can't go any farther out.
Stairway down the side.
I'm sorry, thank you, Dr. Miller. There's also a staircase, a paver staircase that'll be installed over by the barbecue area from that paver area so you can walk down. There'll be deep steps and they'll be short, so it'll be easier for everybody to walk up and down. Yes?
I want to back up to the bulkhead thing. You didn't comment on that, what the effect would be on playing golf, shutting down the course, shutting down holes.
I didn't, because I didn't get to the schedule yet, Steve.
But will it shut the course down?
Let me get to the schedule. I've got all the answers, I promise, or I'm trying to. Material storage bins. The top picture represents how we currently store our bunker sand, our top dressing, and our divot repair. So when it comes in off of the big loaders, we dump it onto dirt because we don't have any proper storage. The bottom picture represents proper bulk storage bins for green golf course operations. So that is one of the projects that are one of the 6 that we are looking at installing as well.
Where would that be?
I'm sorry?
Where would that be?
That will be back in the greens and grounds area. Right now, when you pull in the road, you can see where it's stored on the immediate left. These will be right up against that berm there, and they'll be built into the backside of that will be built into the berm, and then they'll extend out. You won't see any of those. The next project is reskinning the existing greens and grounds building. The existing building exterior is rusting and rotting. Doors are falling off. You're more than welcome to go down and inspect it. We need to replace the windows. We need to replace that door that's in the picture. There's about an 8-inch gap between the top of the door and the wall. So we do get a lot of really interesting critters go in there at night. So, and I know Nick and the crew would like to have their offices not invaded by rats that come in overnight and then they have to go in the morning and ask them to get up. The next is a landscape addition. The landscape addition is for the entire left side of number 1 challenge. It runs a 1/4 mile length and it will include 675 30-gallon fuchsia bushes. They'll be installed 24 inches on center, and when they're installed, they'll be 6 feet tall. It'll also include 45 foxtail palms every 30 feet, and those will be 12 to 14 feet tall once they're installed. They run from the challenge golf course putting green all the way along to the property line where it ends behind the first green on number 1 challenge. Yes?
What do you anticipate the maintenance costs?
I'm sorry?
What do you anticipate the maintenance costs is going to be?
Well, the beauty of these foxtails, they're self-pruning, so they just fall off. So that's why Nick chose foxtails. They're just like the ones that we've installed in the parking lot. They're not sable palms, they don't seed out, they self-prune.
Are they going to be right up next to the hedge?
Yeah, they're actually going to be in the hedge, right? So the hedge will run, and then there'll be a tree, and then the hedge will start. So it will be part of the hedge as it goes along. Yes?
What about holes 5 and 6 of the classic?
Great question. So what we want to do is take care of the big bad one first, and then if you like the way the cloches look, we can go back behind number 6T on classic is what you're referring to, right? The other part behind number 6 is that area to the street side of that car path is owned by the HOA. So we would need permission from the HOA to rip up that landscaping and replace that landscaping, and we would be responsible for maintaining it. So that car path is the delineation between Suntree Country Club and the Suntree Master Homeowners Association. Yes?
We could something like the driving range, because if you go to hole 1 in classic, you go out there and there's 20 balls, you're looking through 20 balls.
Yeah, can we do something about the driving range on the right? Yeah, in the meantime, if you can, just pick them up and throw them back into the driving range would be appreciated, especially by Mike and his staff. But in seriousness, we took the spoils from the classic course renovation project and we built those 2 berms on purpose to try to stop a lot of the short ones. So what we're getting are the higher ones. There's been some discussion of netting it. No, we can't at the board level and grounds, we can't seem to get a good move one way or the other. We did get a quote to topgolf it, to run fencing all the way around it, but it did go over real well because it was going to really change the way that range looked.
Can he put some bushes, like those 6-foot bushes? up on
We can, the
yard?
Calusias, we can take a look at putting more landscape material up on the top of those.
To make it higher.
Yeah, we can take a look at it, sure. Yes.
I'm sure Mike's crew would love to stand out in the driving range and give lessons and teach guys not to hit them.
Yeah, yeah, I agree. So throw them back in and then call Mike. Yes, sir.
What about some screening landscaping for #1 Classic and #10 Classic to screen the maintenance area?
Yeah, that was what was on the backside for the maintenance area that you can see straight through.
The green wall on #10, for example.
Yeah. Oh, so you're talking about the fence along to the right of number 10?
Some aesthetic screening to screen that maintenance area.
We'll be happy to talk about that as we go forward. Yes, I agree with you completely, General. I think the backside of the range needs to be cleaned up. I think along the right side of 10, the left side of #1, we can definitely do some more work over there. But that is not inside the scope of this. But that is, I know that Dr. Hanley's in the room and I got Nick out front, so we can start doing some work on that. Any other questions on this specific project? All right, projected schedules and start dates. So if, and hopefully this is approved, the driving range, artificial turf and pavers will go first in Q4 of this year. Ideally, we would like to get this project done, and Dave understands that we would like to get this project done before the Staub Cup. That is the goal.
Before the what stop?
The Staub Cup, the 3-day men's invitational, and then we get the ladies, and that we get into all the tournaments. Next would be reside the existing greens and grounds building, and we'll upgrade interior lighting, and then concrete block material storage bins. We can do that at any point in time. We just put that in Q1 of next year. Sorry. You want us the numbers? Classic irrigation and the additions in the bulkhead. Someone asked about schedules. What Nick ideally wants to do is do the classic irrigation rework, replacements, along with the extensions, while both courses are shut down for the first spring aerification, and do the bulkhead work at the same time. There's a little bit of push-pull right now between 1 or 2 of the contractors on the bulkheads that they can get that work done in 3 to 4 weeks. We need to talk more about them, because if they need additional time, then say on number 12 challenge, we'll start the bulkhead work behind the green when the courses are shut down at the beginning and work towards the tees, and then we can reopen number 12 so you can play it. And you'll just tee from a more forward position on that. So there are workarounds. But ideally, someone asked if we're planning on shutting the course down. We do this during the normal aerification timeline. And then we get into landscape, and landscape will come after the irrigation is installed, because that entire left-hand side of #1 and behind it on challenge is not irrigated. There's no irrigation over at that area right now. So that's the schedule. Any questions? Whittier, yep.
The reskinning of the building, can
Yes.
that be change orders with the new building?
It can be. If this is approved, we'll just make a change order with the existing. If the existing contractor is chosen to do that work, we would stay with that. Yes.
I have a question.
Yes, ma'am.
Maybe for the agronomist. But the question is, I know you had 2 shutdowns. One course for 3 weeks, then the next course for 3 weeks, and you've done, now we're into the second one.
Yes.
Is that gonna continue?
Will the
every
aerifications
year?
continue? Yes, in perpetuity.
So it's gonna be, how many weeks are we off on each course? That sounds like 12 weeks.
In total, you'll be off 3 weeks in the spring on Classic, 3 weeks in the spring on challenge, 3 weeks off in the classic in the fall, and 3 weeks off challenge in the fall.
But we did one, oh, well, that must have been the spring one.
Yes, ma'am.
The one in May?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, so that's it. It's gonna be
For the rest of this year?
12 weeks for both of them, is it?
Yes, that's correct.
Okay, okay.
Yes, sir.
What's the start and end date of the schedule? How long, what duration does it last over?
Of these projects?
Yes.
They will, hopefully, we will clear all of these projects before summer of next year. The fall is placed in there just in case we need to remobilize the bulkhead work to come in the fall, during the fall aerification. So far, we believe that we can fit in the bulkhead work during the spring aerification and be done. Any additional questions? I have more slides too.
Is this weather dependent? In other words, if we get a lot of rain, is slow to get this activity?
Of course, some of this is weather dependent, yes. Definitely for the irrigation work, they can still slug around in the mud. It'll mostly affect the bulkhead work, I would think. Yes. Any questions about the schedule? You want to know how much?
Not really.
For Equity Golf members, it's $2,420. It is paid over 4 months. For Equity Tennis, it's $968, paid over 4 months. And for Equity Social, it's $726, paid over 4 months. The monthly payment for Equity Golf is $605. The monthly payment for Equity Tennis is $242, and Equity Social is $181.50. Yes.
That's a one-time.
We're paying this monthly. It'll be over 4 months.
At one time. Just over 4 months, that's not gonna be continued for the rest
No.
of
So I have another slide, but this will be over 4 months.
The total cost is one number, the monthly payment is how it breaks down. So the total cost is $2,400, broken into 4 payments.
Correct.
That's what that slide is.
What's the big number equation?
What's the total is $1.8 million. This assessment will raise just over 1.8 million. Yes, sir.
It looks to me like you are blending in needs and wants. Is that correct? Or is it all of them needs?
So if we go back to them, there's 5 needs and there's a want for the landscape.
Okay.
Correct. Those other 5, they have to get done, and they will get done.
Okay.
And I'm going to talk about that in a minute. So the choice, and that's why it was a choice to present to you tonight, an assessment or dues increases. And we'll get into dues increases here in a minute.
What's the estimated cost for the bulkheads?
I'm not getting into project specifics because we're still accepting bids and there are representatives from contractors in the room. Yes?
Are you offering an incentive to pay the entire amount up front?
An incentive to pay it upfront? No, ma'am.
Well,
Yes, yes.
And the equity golf, that's for regardless of your membership, whether you're a family, whether you're single.
So the question is, equity golf, equity tennis, social, regardless of if you're a family single player or single, that is correct, that is the amount.
Does young professional and military families, do they also pay?
No, ma'am, they do not. They are not equity members. They do not pay initiation fees. Yes, sir.
Why did you decide on 4 months?
To make it easier for and more palatable for people to pay cash flows.
Why not do it over 12 months where it makes much more money?
It's a great question. So why over 4 months is because we need the money in advance to put deposits down to get the projects done. Because we need to engage the contractors for the spring work relatively soon. And we don't have the cash, as I showed on the balance sheet, we don't have the cash to float.
But we could pay it off in some kind of a loan type of thing.
No, sir, we cannot. So We can't take a loan. The bylaws don't allow us to take a loan without a membership vote. So we're coming to you, we can go and ask you for a loan and raise the dues to pay the principal and interest on the loan. But the board, after a lot of conversations, felt that it was more prudent to come to you and ask you for an assessment, because one of the push-pulls that Dr. Miller and board members and I have been hearing from you is that we're getting this perpetual dues increases and these higher, you're afraid that it's going to continue to be 25%. This is one way to forego that.
Are
Yes.
you agreeing that you're not going to raise the dues?
No, ma'am.
No?
No, I'm not. I haven't even gotten to that slide yet. Yes.
Well, I may have missed your opening, and you might have covered this in the opening, but of all these 6 projects, what I haven't heard is what's the critical nature of these projects? The build, no build.
Sure.
Are the bulkheads failing and
They
we're
are.
gonna lose land? Can you go through that, or are you gonna go through that?
No, ma'am. The bulkheads are failing.
In all the projects, the critical nature of the projects, a couple of them have
Sure.
to be
I went through with
established.
irrigation as well. We can't get the replacement parts anymore. The bulkheads are failing. Yes.
Share some info on why these 6 projects
Sure. I
are
did.
important.
Yes, I did. Through the presentation, I did. I'll be happy to meet with you afterwards too. Or any of you. Mrs. Tull.
Since we're also on pricing right now.
Yes.
What are the assurances and guarantees from the contractors for getting bids on to lock in our prices throughout the
Sure. So the contractors, try not to give away too much. The contractors have some contingency built in to their proposal to us, and we're building a contingency that's included in that number as well on top of it.
So what's the go, no go on that? If it goes above a certain price, do we stop, do we go to the contractor, and where's the?
Well, the go, no-go is to hopefully get this vote approved so we can place deposits and guarantees and the contractors can start securing the materials for the work.
And we still have guarantees then?
Yes, correct. Yes.
If the project, this passes, when will the monthly payments?
So that's on the schedule here too, and not quite there yet.
I think that was probably my question. When
I
will
got
it
you
start?
covered, I promise. Yes, sir.
When does it start?
If the contractors do submit, get bids.
Minimum of 3. So it's a great question. How many bids and quotes do we need? We have inside a limitation of authority that I'm responsible to follow along with the board and the finance committee and all the operating committees, is that any project over $30,000 requires 3 bids.
But how do you determine which contractors to request bids from?
We reached out to known contractors in the area
Okay,
and through the members.
Golf course, specialized in golf courses, or?
Well, for the irrigation, absolutely. The bulkheads are all marine contractors. For the building, they're general contractors. They think 2 or 3 of them build metal buildings, and that's their business. And if any of you want me to take a look at a potential contract, I'd be happy to ring them up for a 4th or a 5th or a 6th bid. Yes?
In light of the 47% increase we've seen in the last 3 years, did you ever consider planning these projects over a 2-year period of time?
So the question is, do you plan, can we do these over a period of time? The answer is yes, and I'll share that information in detail if I could get to the next slide. Yes, sir.
You said that you had scheduled next year. Is that what you said? We're gonna spend this $2 million by the second quarter of 2026.
Hopefully by the summer of next year, all the projects will be complete.
The question I have is, do you have any more capital improvement projects on the books anywhere?
Do I have any more capital improvement projects? I have billions of them. Yes. Yes, sir. Yes. I'm about to show them to you. Yes, sir.
You told me the end date was June 26th. Now I'm hearing December 26th.
No, December.
What is it?
I didn't say December. I said the end of summer. Yes, ma'am.
You stated that some of the projects were aesthetic and some of them were necessary.
Mhm.
And I totally understand why the landscaping is
Yep.
aesthetic. And I'm the first person that wants that.
Why are all these projects being presented?
Why pavers?
I can't, what?
The driving range. The maps on the driving range are part of our
Oh.
fixed asset study that show that they're nearing an end point. They've been around for a long time. As an act of pulling the projects forward, we're offering that up as an idea.
Yeah, we did a fixed asset study and, those, the driving range is beyond its useful life. So that matting needs to be rebuilt.
Do we need to use pavers?
Why the pavers? Because we don't want to maintain that grass anymore. Pavers are less expensive than concrete. Sir, in the back?
Mr. Stone, am I correct in this presentation is asking for a capital assessment of the membership?
Correct.
Under what provision of the bylaws? I know you reviewed them. In my look at the bylaws, there was a capital assessment provision that requires an absolute vote of the membership.
Correct.
Is that what you are going to see?
Yes. So tonight is the town hall meeting presenting all the projects, along with the amount of money for all of the projects and what the actual assessment will be. I haven't even gotten to that yet. We will open this up for a full vote by the membership and hold a special meeting of the membership to announce whether the vote passed or not.
This is not a quorum vote. Actually, 51, a majority of the outstanding interest in the club have to vote in the affirmative, which is a very tough bar to reach.
Possibly, we're gonna test that bar. I agree. All right, next slide shows what future capital would look like. So what is up on this slide is 2026, just a rough pro forma of 2026 capital and 2027 capital with a 5% increase. At the top line, it shows the total dues income plus initiation fees. So a total revenue of 2.7 million in 2026. With our loan repayments, so we stated at 671, our lease payments of 882, and we are starting to establish proactively next year a capital reserve fund of $250,000 as we move forward. That leaves us working capital of about $9 million in 26 and $1 million in 27. Of that working capital, we had a Compass study done, which was done for fixed assets. So we had a company come in last year and did a full study of all of our fixed assets on the property that included furniture, irrigation pumps, irrigation heads, all the systems, tennis fencing, lighting, everything on the property. And they gave us a schedule that we are looking to follow. The facilities committee met last month and had a really nice look at it, and we are starting to pull forward those projects for replacement. That number is represented in the $476,000 number, which is the capital, is the Compass study work. So that is replacing air conditioning units, landscape, concrete, you name it, that's operational and maintenance obligations that we have. We also set aside, again, an additional $200,000 for aspirational capital for planning. That leaves a balance of $223,000 in 26, and it leaves a balance of $410,000 in 27. I can tell you that that is not enough to fund any of the top projects that we are looking for. The top projects that are driving this are the bulkhead work and the irrigation work. So we will need to do, if this vote is declined, we will need to do a capital dues raise of a minimum of 30%. That capital dues raises enough money to fund one of those projects. One project. And to add insult to injury, we won't be able to start that one project until the spring of 2027. because we don't have the cash on hand to float to start a project. So the board is committed to doing this work. This work will get done. The board is asking for your support to take the assessment and let us get this work done now, rather than increase your capital dues next year. You will not see any of these 6 projects. I shouldn't say that. There might be 1 or 2 we might be able to pull forward, but those 2 big ones will definitely wait. So we will charge your dues and we'll have enough cash on hand by the end of 2026 to do the first project in the spring of 2027. And then we'll move the next large project to 2028, and so on and so forth as we move forward. I think that answers a lot of questions on what happens with capital dues. Okay, that's the driver behind these projects. They have to get done. There's not a, oh, by the way, let's just push it off again. They have to get done. For us to be able to maintain the services and the standards that you want us to maintain, they have to get done. Yes, sir.
For the delay of those projects, we could also increase the price.
No, sir. We did not put an accelerator to.
Yeah, that picture is just based on the prices that are today.
That is the price of the quote that we are receiving today. What I am doing is just showing you a real quick pro forma of the price of the largest project today and what the effective monthly capital dues will be if the vote is turned down. We're not, we can get into.
And that's best case scenario for the price.
That is best case, and we know what the volatility of the market is. We still haven't seen the full effects of tariffs yet. We are starting to see some. Yes?
If we accept the 2,400, what will be the increase in dues this year?
If you accept the 2,400, what's the increase in dues? I don't know. And I don't mean to be, I appreciate that. I don't mean to be coy. And the reason I don't know is because I don't know what your decision is yet. I don't. So we're currently in the budget planning stages. So we need your answer to this proposal before we can start looking at what capital dues will be next year. Yes, sir.
So looking at your figures up there for capital dues income, you're not expecting more members, you're expecting increase in dues in order to get to those figures.
Correct. We're not expecting more members because we are very comfortable with the 635 golfing members that we currently have. And I think that might be one of the only things that we can all agree on right now. We do have room for social members and more racket sports members, but they are not going to raise the funds that we need through initiation fees or dues to offset the expense. Yes, sir.
Is that number you have for capital income for next year, including the 30%?
No, sir. No, that number of 2 million does not include the 30% raise.
So that's another 600,000.
Oh, yeah, closer to 660, correct?
Plus the capital.
65%.
Yeah, plus the rest of the capital.
Reserve of a couple 100,000.
250,000,
and
correct.
the aspirational, whatever the hell it is.
200,000.
Okay, so that's $1 million, right?
No, sir. This is all
You're
earmarked.
talking about the increase.
The increase will be on that top line number of 2,041,000.
That's 600,000.
Correct.
Okay, then you have 200,000 capital, the capital reserves, estimate, and 200,000 of addition. So that's $1 million.
Correct.
That's a pretty big percentage on capital dues.
But we will not be utilizing the capital reserves. That is a natural reserve. The fund project. Yes, sir.
Hey, you've got 660,000 in initiation fees.
Yes, sir.
In 2026 and 2027.
Sir, yes.
How many new members is that anticipated?
Anna, what will we usually take? 30, 40 at full, the full member equivalent?
30 or 40?
Well, that's if they're golf members.
That's it?
Yep, that's if they're golf, correct. We take more than that, but that's the full member, what we call the full member equivalent is about 30. 31.2? 31.4 is the full member equivalent.
That's just turnover.
That is correct. So we plan, Anna is our membership director, and we plan on member attrition every year. So those initiation fees are for new members coming in and filling spots. I do have another slide, my last one, I promise. Yes.
Want me to wait?
Nope, go right ahead.
How many members do we have currently?
In total, or
Yes.
voting members? In total,
Voting members, voting members.
voting members, just over 1,000.
So we don't, how are you gonna make sure that we at least get to 501 members to see
Gotcha.
this?
So let me handle the next slide. I'll give you all the details. So the last slide is what happens next, right? Voting opens on Friday morning, August 15th. I can't give you an exact time because there's a lot of emails going out. The emails will be coming from the same voting company that we use for the annual elections. It is an independent third party. Me, and our staff are not touching it. So to answer your question, this will be emailed to the membership, and Katie will send out reminders over probably 3 times over the next week to vote. Yes or no? Your vote is tabulated and sent in. We need 51% of the membership, as was pointed out, to qualify for a vote. But it's 51% of the vote count. Full equity golf has 8. Tennis has 2, and social has 1. And we take the 51% of the total points that are available to determine whether the vote passes or not. Then we will host, the board of directors as called in that last email, a special meeting. That special meeting will take place at 6 o'clock on Friday the 22nd. The polls will close at 5 o'clock on the 22nd. The bylaws require us to wait, just one moment, to wait for 1 hour before we can announce the votes. This meeting will be to announce the vote, whether it's a yay vote or a nay vote. If the vote passes, the first payment will be applied to your August statement, this current month. So it'll be August, September, October, and November.
So if you resign, you still pay August, September, October.
If you resign, again, by the bylaws, not my choice or the board's, you're obligated for 75% of that before you leave. Yes, sir.
Explain that vote again.
Yeah, sure.
A yes vote is 8 with your equity?
No. Has nothing to do, yes or no's has nothing to do with it. When you vote as a member, in the bylaws, there is a part in there that shows that equity golf members' vote counts 8 times. An equity tennis member's vote counts 2 times, and a equity social member counts once. It's not yes or no plays no part in it. Yes, sir. No.
I'm sorry, I can't hear that.
So if this passes, do I expect a 5% increase that was shown in that pro forma? The answer is no. I don't know what the increase is going to be. All I wanted to show, Treasurer and I worked on this, all we wanted to show was that a modest 5% increase in capital dues still doesn't generate enough cash for us to do a project.
At this point, you still haven't, in other words, there could be a capital dues increase and an operating dues increase.
That is correct.
Both is, we know capital dues increase.
No, sir, we're not committing anything in the future other than proposing the assessment. Sir.
I'm a little confused on the count on the vote. Now, and when we vote, is it the 8 equivalent points for a golf member? Is that times the 700 members we have now? Or is it going to be 51% of the votes taken?
No. Again, it's 8 points for each equity golf.
So we have 700 golfers.
It's 51% of the total points, not the memberships that vote.
Okay, so in other words, if everybody don't vote, they don't vote.
If you don't vote, you don't vote.
I understand that. But how does that affect the percentage?
So let me give you an example.
Okay.
If 100 people vote, we need 51 yeses, and it will pass. If 50 people vote, we need 26 yeses, and it will pass. If you chose not, we don't need everyone to vote. We'd like you to. But not everyone needs to vote.
Okay, let's go back to your example. If we have 100 members, and let's say only 50 of them vote, but is the 100 8 times 100 that we're looking at?
So it's whatever the total, in this case, if it's 100 Equity Golf members who are voting, it's 800 points.
You said voting. I'm talking about 800 people that can vote,
Okay.
not whether they vote or not.
I don't, Mr. Johnson, I don't have the breakout of the number for the total points value if tennis and social.
I don't need to know the number. I just need to know the principle. If we have X number of members,
yes, sir,
Equity Golf members, let's say, and they're eligible for 8 points, eight points, right? Right? Is that you shaking your head? Yes or no?
Your vote is worth 8 points.
Okay. And so we have total X number of members. So 8 times those members.
Correct.
Okay. So we need to have 51% approval based on that total number of points available.
No.
Only on the votes?
Only on the people that vote.
Oh,
you
that
need
sucks.
51%.
That sucks.
Yes, sir.
So what you're really saying is, to be a legitimate vote, 51% of the voting members have to vote, and however many people that vote 51%, you just need 51% of the amount.
So not to further confuse this, in order for us to have a quorum, at the special meeting on the 22nd, 1/3 of the membership has to vote.
Okay, that helps, yeah.
That establishes the quorum. If only 1/3 of the membership vote, then we will take the simple majority of what that 1/3 total vote cast was. Yes or no? Does that sort of help?
That's what I was trying to get at.
That it? That it? All right. Yes, sir.
In reading the bylaws regarding the capital assessment vote, I did not come away with your interpretation. I came away with the interpretation that 50, a majority of the outstanding membership interests have to vote in the affirmative, not who shows up or who votes.
I appreciate the opinion, and I will put you in touch with Mr. Brian Murtha, who's our internal attorney, who has determined that information to be correct. Yes, ma'am. Yes.
If we vote yes on these projects, can somebody on the board or you tell us how will that impact 2026 financials, and specifically the members?
The financials?
Dues.
I don't know. So this,
But somebody must know, up, down.
well, your dues are going to go up next year. Your dues are going to go up. Operational dues will go up next year, and capital dues will go up next year. What I don't know is what the value is, and honestly, we just started, Amy and I are reviewing the operational budgets to present to the Finance Committee and the Board this week. The Finance Committee and Board won't see them until after Labor Day, and then they will have 2 months to work through what the operational dues increase will be. The capital dues will follow the same process. The department directors present their budgets, they defend them. Finance Committee and the Board say yay or nay, and that will lead into what the capital dues increases are and the operational dues increases are. What I can tell you is that capital dues will not go up at all by close to 30% next year if you vote yes for this. I can tell you that for certain.
If it is turned down,
Yes.
are you going to increase 30% because you're going to do the projects anyway?
Yes, sir. The question is, if it's turned down, do capital dues go up by 30%? The answer is yes, because the board is committed to doing these projects.
Yeah, where is our capital?
Ladies and gentlemen, if there's no more questions, Dr. Miller?
Can anybody not hear me?
Take the mic.
Mike? Okay, so when we started as a board, and when we were all voted in, a primary complaint amongst the membership, and it goes for most of you, is that there's no clarity or transparency. Transparency is emphasized so often in how decisions have to be made. We have these projects that are part of the fixed asset study. They're projects that are relevant, timely, and important for our golf course, with the argument that the hedgerow to beautify the first area of disaster is perhaps unnecessary. That is a very tiny percentage of that overall ask of money. Now, we've shown you the considerations we all have to make as the 7 of us to decide how your money gets spent. What we're asking is how you choose to have us do it, right? I mean, you now see the projects that have to be done. You know the time frame that they would be done if we take it with a dues increase. You know roughly what a dues increase might look like on the capital side. You can do that math specifically, and that's to take care of one project per year, independent of the other stuff that has to happen at this club, like the breaking of air conditioning units or what have you. So you can see that the money that we have is not infinite, and unfortunately over the course of the last 15 or 20 years, we haven't done a very good job of saving for future problems. So this is what we're starting to accumulate. 1,000 sprinkler heads go bad. The end result of that is that we have no grass. Grass is relatively important on a golf course. The same goes for bulkheads. I don't remember who it was, but somebody fell in one when the bulkhead broke on 12. There was a human being that fell in the water. Thank goodness they could swim, and that they didn't break something on their way down. These are things that have to be done. We have ways of doing it. We can collect dues. That dues process, unfortunately, the way they get collected is it's slowly over an entire year. This is money all the way up front, and we can expedite the way the projects are done. We're asking you how you'd like to do it. If the vote is overwhelmingly no, we recognize that the idea of assessment is not palatable. I will tell you, in the way of many clubs, major projects like this get assessed with frequency. They can be rather large, they can be small, but they're targeted and focused. And instead of every time we need more money, we increase those dues. I don't know if anybody's ever seen dues go down, but they tend to go up and then they stay. And the next time we need more money, they go up a little bit more and they stay. It would be really nice if we could get to a point as a club where you can expect a 5 or 6% dues increase year over year in order to cover the general increases in costs that come year over year. Right now, we haven't gotten there because we haven't made those plans very well. This is our opportunity to move in that direction, but there is still the way we have done it. We can see what the numbers look like, but we'd love your input. We've looked for what people want, and they want transparency. So we've got projects that we think are important, timely, make big improvements to our club. We've got new director of agronomy that's made huge strides in the last 4 months. And these are projects that he feels very strongly that these are things that should have been done already. And perhaps in different financial considerations and a different budget process, we would have started this before now when it's become somewhat time sensitive. But we're asking, please kind of guide us on how you want us to make this work. It's up to you guys. Brian.
So, I think it would be a good idea if you would explain the difference of what it would actually cost us to do it by assessment as opposed to significant annual dues increases. I think, the way I see it, it's cheaper for us to do an assessment now than to spread this out over 5 years.
So a little bit of it is about the timeliness of it. So the project cost is a little bit more concrete up front, as somebody mentioned, overruns or cost accelerators. Those are all pretty fancy terms for me. But the prices that we can give you up front are the prices they are now. The prices at the end of 12 months when we can put down deposits to make the next payment might be different. It's hard to say, cost being variable.
I'm not talking about the cost of the project. I'm talking about what it costs us to pay for that project. So the assessment for the golf equity number is $2,400 now.
Yeah.
All right, with 5 years of 30% increases, it's gonna be way more than that.
Oh, I said before that you've never seen dues go down. That 30% increase would probably be in perpetuity, and it would not account for what happens the next year.
So it would be beneficial for us now to pay for it now.
It probably. I imagine Rob would really appreciate not having it, and we could increase dues forever. I'm joking. But what I'm saying is, what we're looking for is a concrete way to spend money in a timely fashion. It makes a lot more sense to pick the projects and pay for them up front.
How much is
Are
our
we gonna
capital?
do this year after year after year where you forge projects forward?
So we have a fixed asset study. We have a number of costs that are currently on the books and a timely manner in which to complete them. These projects are in those books. They're built off over a number of years. We're pulling some projects forward that we think are more timely and necessary now. And then we can start to consider how to pay for the other things. And this building has a lot of costs associated with it. Everything on this facility, everything on the grounds has a cost. They went and looked at the date these chairs were bought and the likelihood that they'll last another 3 years. So we have costs for every single thing on this place, and they all have to be replaced over the course of things. That's just the nature of how this business works. We have to figure out how to pay for it and what's relevant in time.
Yeah, but in 2027, are we gonna get another $2,400 assessment for projects you're bringing forward?
It would be really hard to say because it's 2027, and what I'm currently looking at are projects that could be done right now in 2026, 2027, and 2028. So these projects being pulled forward, we have, as we've noted, no capital or operational reserves essentially. We have to start building our portfolio to be ready for adversity. So
4 years, we're gonna have $750,000. Right?
That is correct.
there you go. That would be great. I mean, I think that's what we should aspire to.
With the reserves, the operational reserves that we started at the top of the meeting off, right? Do we have enough room to take full payments and take discounts? And then on the capital side, establishing reserves, do we have money that we can plan to spend in the future? We are truly, through the board, the finance committee, and the leadership team, we're trying to be as proactive as we possibly can. I know that this is not great news for you, but this assessment is a great way to pull these things forward, have an immediate impact, and let us focus on the rest of the things that we can try to schedule and budget out. 2 of these projects, they are huge projects. They are huge projects. And there's a reason that they've been deferred. Don?
I apologize. What do we pay annually in 2026 for capital dues?
It was just under.
No, per golf member. What do we
Per
pay?
golf member, I think it's $221 a month for equity golf.
221 times 12, 2,500. Is that about right?
Fair.
So 30% 2,500. So 30% 2,000 is around 600. So 700.
Well, that's a good question.
You know, then I mean, I know you guys have figured out the math, so it's probably basically about the same we need for the 1.8 million.
Right. So, I mean,
30% is a minimum.
30% is the number that was come up with. That's roughly to account for what the most expensive project is and what we have that we're taking in and what that difference would look like. Yes.
What's going on with the green cell that are kind of destroyed in the process?
The 4 problem children, as Nick calls them?
Because that never was addressed in this.
No, it won't be.
No. So I'm going to speak a little bit ahead. We have issues with the collar surrounds. We have this bad areas of grass, and we don't have on the classic course a lot of options in the United States to get that grass and bring it in here and have it be functional. The one place that we were able to get it from, it came in relatively dormant. It's had a hard time adapting and growing. The nursery has done a better job. I think everybody that follows has seen the pictures. It's looking better. And we're working on a second nursery to be cultivated out of the plugs that we're pulling from this aeration. With the hope being that we can start to do this work internally rather than buy it and bring it in. And by doing it that way, that should offer cost control because it'll be our own grass.
Specifically to those 4 bad greens, the problem children, as Nick calls them, this aerification should reset those for the most part. So we are aerifying all 4 of those, and we're also dry jacking over the top, and he's going to push them with additional
We think
fertilizer.
you can save those without this.
We can save those, yes, yeah.
So, you mentioned earlier that we have received money from an employee retention credit, about 800,000 and change.
847.
And the decision's been made to invest that money. What's the mindset for investing money and not utilizing the money?
So we need operational reserves. As I showed on that original screen at the beginning, we don't have enough operational cash to even pay for 1 month's worth of expenses. At the end of June, we had $984,000. I shared with all of you, we're a $15 million business. You can do the math. That comes up about $400,000 short. So we need to hold the money, and we need to reserve the money, and we want to earn decent interest on it.
But I didn't see that in any of your charts.
It's right here. It was the balance sheet discussion at the top of the hour.
Right, so those numbers at the end of June had not been given to us. So we don't have those final numbers up there, but the dollar value that you gave was 847.
No, the 984,000 is the cash that we had on hand at the end of June.
Oh, no, I thought he was talking about the ERC.
I am talking about.
No, that is not in, because we
It's nowhere
received.
in your charts.
No,
because we didn't receive it until July. and
Until
so we
July. It'll
just
be,
started this.
that will be reported in the Q3 Treasurer's report.
As capital reserve.
No, operational reserves.
I mean,
Operational reserves, and we'll have more defining characteristics around it. Anyone? Yeah. Please.
Yeah, I recommend that you possibly do more of these special assessments in the case of the annual. It seems to me like as a new member that a lot of people are upset because the dues are just continuing to increase.
I will say, as a member for 10 years and in historical perspective, I don't know that Suntree has ever levied an assessment successfully because the vote, as the gentleman in the back has pointed out, is relatively challenging, and the membership had not been on board with that idea. We're at a point right now where we'd like to ask, right? Maybe this works better for people. Maybe a small assessment occasionally to deal with pull-through projects is good. Maybe it's not. We'll find out a little bit more based on the vote this time through, and I think we'll be able to present those numbers at the end. Affirmative or
We don't like standing up and delivering dues increases any more than you do, trust me. It's nice that we're not getting tomatoes. But with the current market that it looks like in the fluctuations, and we do operate on the commodities market in the restaurant and actually on our operational expenses. And we can pass through some prices on the retail side through shirts and things and food and beverage, but operational increases for copper and aluminum, small engine parts that we purchase from overseas, we need a plan for it, so.
Sure.
I've been a member since 1979, and we've never been accepted.
That's true.
Anybody can do what you're doing, but in fact, they're going to get accepted, so if you want to knock it,
Thanks, Chip.
Sure.
You know, kind of for budget purposes, you guys do budgets. I like to do budgets. You know, if this passes, it's going to take effect in our first September.
No, ma'am, August.
Starting
August,
dead
but I
then.
mean, we'll have to pay for it in September.
I believe that I don't
So
know whether
that's
it's the
That's what
15th,
it
whatever
says.
the
So
bill
it
is.
really
correct.
doesn't give us time to readjust our budget to cover this cost. And I'm not necessarily talking about me, but I talk to some other.
That's fair. That's part of the reason that we put it into 4 payments rather than a lump sum payment at once. For those people that had to make some adjustments or to be ready for a pull, it might have been a little bit easier.
Mr. McHale?
Yeah, maybe I heard you wrong, but is it regardless of the way the vote goes, they usually go in about the 30%?
No.
No, that was heard wrong. The 25 to 30% number was a filler to account for a no vote. Because we still do need to do these projects, it just changes the timeline and the way they get paid.
We're just trying to prepare because we anticipate that being a question, if the vote is turned down, what does capital dues go up? And it'll be a minimum of 30%.
Based upon this study that you've done, how much deferred maintenance are you talking about? I mean, is it $2 million this year? Is it
Millions.
Millions.
10, 20?
So I'll help you. I can be pretty specific.
Sure.
So when this was completed in mid-2025, 2025's number for fixed assets to be replaced was over $4 million. And that is because we had $4 million of deferments up until the point when they took the physical counts and the physical assessments of everything. And it gets smaller, as you can appreciate, into the out years. And this fixed asset study goes out 25 years. And as Dr. talked to, it counts chairs and tables and windows and everything. Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Golf family membership right now, the monthly dues are $1,000 a month. What would that become if we did not go through with the assessment? Would it,
So it's not the 1,000 that we're looking at, it's the 221, I believe, which is capital.
so it's
that would
only
go up.
$60 extra?
So that would be the straight up cost, projected to do one project
Well,
at one time. Now, it's again,
It's in today's dollars. So we would need to add an accelerator to start the project in 2027. So as I said, it's a minimum. Don't hold me to vote no and get a 30% increase. It's not gonna work like that.
Well, how should we plan for it if it doesn't go through? How would we now think of?
well, we as mentioned, we just started the budget process, so it would be pretty challenging to make a functional budget without knowing whether the membership chooses to do this.
Well,
So, but
yay or nay should have two different numbers.
But it doesn't yet, because we don't know what the numbers will be, yay or nay. So we're voting on this right now because, right, we're voting for this now because the budget needs to be made for next year. If we pay for it right now and we have the project set up, we can start to reserve the spacing and the timing, and now the budget considerations for capital projects next year can be adjusted.
They change.
They change.
Well, we're in the beginning of the budget. It's not a problem of us being able to budget.
Why are we giving this vote down to a little bit later when the budget is?
To get the project started. The projects are timely, and so we want to do it now. Right, so it takes I don't know how long, I don't know about you, but trying to get a contractor to do anything in a timely fashion, you have to have money up front and get ready to start the process. Good luck.
No, that's what.
That's what we're trying to do, yes.
Right, again, the projects change, the timeline changes based on when we get the money. That's what's important to note.
Okay. If it goes through, we've got what we're paying $2,400. Is it gonna go into a special fund to cover this, or is it going into a general fund?
We don't have a special or general fund, so the money will be set aside and earmarked for these specific projects.
Okay.
Yeah, we're not gonna ask for one thing and use it to pay for something else.
So we don't need this money to operate. I already shared with you that we just, we're given $847,000 to put into operational cash. This money is earmarked for these specific projects.
Okay, because things do come up, you never know.
No, there's not a bait and switch at all. That money, and we will account for it, and we'll present it as we move forward.
Okay.
They believe that there's 171 racket sports members and 620 something golf.
How many social members?
303 social members. You guys get real specific now. Yes, sir.
Possibly, don't know.
It is a minimum of 30%. I don't know what the project is going to cost yet in 2027 dollars. So, and the board hasn't decided which of these two big projects we're gonna pull forward. So the board needs to decide with the grounds committee about which one of the two we're gonna pull forward. Then we go back to the contractor that we've selected and say, give us your best estimate on what this is gonna cost in 2027. We'll talk to some of the economists to try to do some additional math, and it will be a minimum of 30% because that is in actual today dollars on what we're sitting. Sure. That gets you one project. So the one project will start in 27, the next one will go into 28, and there will be accelerators on top of that minimum of 30 as we go forward.
And that 30% never goes away. Right.
It never goes away. Yeah.
I mean, it would be, yes, historically, I think people that have been here a long time have not seen dues.
Yeah, dues increases will not be returned.
That's part of the benefit of an assessment. The cost is paid for up front, and it's done and gone, and it's not something that you have hanging over you forever and ever. Again, it's just a basic, two different fundamental ways to pay for projects that have to be done.
I haven't played golf since May until last week. I'd like to compliment Dan for the condition.
Yep. They've been fantastic to work with.
The next thing is, I was gonna say, until I listen to this whole thing, that I feel it's irresponsible for the board not to give us an idea of if this passes, what the increase would be for next year. But now I think I understand your problem. I think this is a better way to go. I think your challenge is, I have the copy of the bylaws in front of me. Your challenge is the vote. It's the majority of the equity members entitled to vote, therefore the entire membership,
That's what I
not
was
just
trying
those
to ask.
who vote. And I thought I heard you define
No, the crux of this entire thing is the vote, and historically, people don't vote at the club. This is a general statement, so, you know, for or against, we prefer everybody to put their vote down so we understand the direction you want us to take. And please tell your friends, families, relatives, everybody, please vote.
Just the point,
he said
votes for
the
election.
number of votes which are entitled to vote, not just who's present during the voting meeting.
Yes, of course, that's what we're talking about. We will do the vote, and the requirements will exist based on the bylaws. The special meeting that will happen as part of your voting process will basically allot a proxy so that you're present at the time of the vote counting, because as in addition to the vote as it's counted, there are very specific pieces of information on what establishes an appropriate meeting number. So that will all be included in your voting card, whether it comes online or for those of us that we don't have an email to your home address.
Sir.
Just clarify, you intend on doing these projects automatically?
Yes.
Yeah. So it's just a matter of where the money goes.
Correct.
We either do it as part of this assessment, or
A dues
we
increase.
do it as a capital improvement.
Correct.
It's about
The reason why all the pushback is because all of a sudden it's all or nothing. All or nothing.
Well, I think this goes a little bit to the idea of being nickeled and dimed with tiny assessments year over year to handle projects.
I'm just saying why the pushback is. I think it's the methods would agree with the rework of the buttons, rework of the shed. The landscaping along the thing, you know, and the pavers on the driveway. So that's where the pushback is.
Sure, and we appreciate the pushback. I mean, like I said, we're trying to make decisions for a whole membership.
Ma'am?
Hi, so I apologize, I'm curious,
the fundraising, we're a private social club, and the fundraising comes from the membership. So it'll be done by internal golf events, tennis events, and things like that. You can invite guests, but I can tell you that that's going to take probably 4 million of them to generate the money that we
What I
We
think
don't
he's trying to
generate
say
a lot
is
of money.
they don't generate as much money as we think because they have a lot of costs associated with putting them on. All right, the board's around. Everybody's here to answer questions individually if you're more comfortable. Thank you guys for coming.
Have a good night.
All of this information will be posted online. You'll have the video to look at, the slides as well. And the voting will open on Friday this week and close Friday next week. Thank you.